And then what's this thing with Gunblade?
Oh, so I can explain that. Essentially,
Okay.
Gunblade, a while back, did this stuff with this 16-year-old. It's actually not as it's still disgusting, but it's not as severe as a lot of the other stuff that's been going on. Um,
Mm.
the main thing with him is that as soon as as soon as that realization came to pass, he distanced himself from the community right afterwards, because like, you'll notice that Gunblade wasn't at events the past couple of years it's because of this. Um, and the girl in question, the girl who was the victim, she went to Bear about this, and essentially he left the community from that point.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Damn. I'll put a tweet together if you want me to, and I'll link here. I'll be like small cast today.
Yeah. Cool.
There you go.
I have
Got
music
it.
going on in the background. If
Right on.
if the
Right on.
people watching, if you guys still want the music to be there, go by all means. But we typically don't have the music on during Japan
Yeah,
Time
we never
podcasts.
have music on
Yeah,
during Japan time ever.
it's
Yeah.
probably it's
Yeah.
probably best to not have it.
It just felt weird for, we talked about this in the um call, this not call, but like the private Discord room this morning,
Mm,
where it's like, we want to talk about Min Min and all the other stuff going on, but this is just like too important to
yeah,
ignore.
yeah,
It's
and
the kind of thing where, and yeah, yeah,
it needs its
exactly,
own
and it needs
episode.
to
Yeah.
happen. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. There you go. I tweeted and got it up.
I made it.
Welcome, 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 Zeph.
Oh, it's exactly 9. Cool.
Cool. Perfect.
Yeah, you said you were going to be late, but we were like, we're
Nah,
good.
it's because like I just woke up and I needed to shower and stuff, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I feel you. I was telling Viram and the rest of them, it's like literally the first thing I saw when I woke up was your tweet where you were like, I feel bad for my friends who are going to wake up and see this. And I looked, I'm like, what? And at first I was like, what did Zeph do? Is the first thing that I thought. And then I looked, and then I just like one thing after another after another. It's just depressing, man.
It's a lot of our fucking friends, bro.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mentioned. It's like I think that's the D1 hit me the hardest.
It did.
I mean, he was
All
on the show
nothing, like
last week.
nothing. Okay. Fuck it. I've said it on Twitter. Um, I've known about these things for a very long time, but never in my whole life have I ever heard anything about D1 ever doing anything.
Right.
So when that shit struck, I didn't know what the fuck was like. I felt like I was asleep. It was so wrong.
Man. Because even yeah, yeah, I would not have thought this of D1.
I'm
Because
just
we
glad
we
no
talked
one
about
in.
this on we talked about this on
What?
like previous episodes and stuff. About the
Yeah.
Pokemon community and this like the scum and the stuff that needed to be taken out in the Pokemon community. And I was telling Viram and Coast, it's like I don't know. I didn't think the Smash community was that bad. You know, I would always see things about the Smash community, and it seemed like people were being a lot more inclusive. And I don't know. I just thought like even if it was ignorant, I thought the Smash community was like better than that. Always saw the Pokemon community as like all the crummy one, and that Smash would have some like shitty thing happen every once in a while, but like it wouldn't be the entire community. I mean, like figureheads, man, and friends.
I think the sad reality is that this shit's just it happens everywhere and
Yeah,
every community, whether gaming or not. and right now it's just finally being dealt with,
Yeah.
which is a good thing.
That is, yeah. At the very least, that is a good thing.
Yeah, the
I saw
silver
some
lining to all of this.
exactly right. Is that things will be better when all this is said and done.
It's just sad.
It is.
Mm.
I mean,
Who else are we waiting on?
I don't think anybody. I think we're just going.
No, I'm just going.
Yeah.
Because Shofu said he didn't really feel like streaming.
Connor wants to join.
Completely get that.
Well, Connor can hop in if he wants to. Connor can hop in.
I completely get not wanting.
Of course. I mean, it's because
Because-
we're all dealing with it differently. Because like some of these people are friends,
Mm.
and so I understand on one end like not wanting to talk about it because you still are processing it yourself. But on the other hand, it's like I don't know. I just feel like it feels weird to then sit and talk about like Min Min or something or Slippy or any of the other stuff.
Right. Whenever you want to like properly start and do
I
an
feel like
intro, or
we're
we're just
in.
going straight. Yeah, we're.
I think this is it. I mean, we're in it.
Yeah. That's
we're
fine.
we're in the midst of it. It's a conversation this week. It's like we can't sit here and pretend like everything's fun. And
That's what I was saying like 2 days ago or like yesterday. Like if we did a
Yeah.
Japan Time episode talking about Min Min, none of our hearts would be in it, and everyone
No.
in the Twitch chat would be like, "What the fuck are these guys doing?"
Right.
Mhm.
Exactly.
I think it would
Exactly.
be more disrespectful to ignore it.
Especially with how close we are to like
Exactly.
pretty much everybody that got.
Yeah. I mean, D1, Keitaru, they've been on the show before.
Everybody's
Nairo.
been on the show.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to start.
I think what's so crazy is just the sheer quantity of allegations that have been popping up. And it's just
Right.
and it's literally just been largely over these past 2 days.
Right.
Obviously it's been kind of gradually feeding in over the past week or so, but these past 2 days in particular is where just everything's been coming out from so many people. And it's I was saying this before, it's wonderful that these victims are gaining the confidence to speak out about everything that's happening.
Sure.
Because it's from here that we can start to facilitate change, but at the same time it's very overwhelming. It's very overwhelming.
Especially because, like you said, it's like we're so close to it. These are people we considered friends and colleagues and like have worked with. And yeah.
Dude,
Whenever-
honestly, I don't know where
Whenever
to
Connor
start.
gets here, do you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, Connor can jump in too. Whenever I like, I really don't even know like how to format this. You know what I mean? It's like there's no good place to start because
No.
Yeah.
I feel like there's so much to cover, and I feel like
You could, like,
it would be
go
weird
down the
to skip
timeline,
over
but-
things or yeah. I mean, see, like I woke up to half of this, and most of it was done. Some of you guys were staying up the night before, so like, what was the process? Like, how did everything go?
Like, how did it start?
Yeah.
I just remember I was fucking standing in my kitchen making spaghetti at like 3 a.m. and I look at my phone and my one of my personal discords is going fast as fuck, and I see like, yo, Nairo's gone, Nairo's canceled, Nairo's gone, and I that's when it started pretty much.
Bro, I
But-
was in bed just watching a fucking YouTube video
That
for
was just
30
that day,
minutes.
not counting like Senpai and stuff.
Yeah.
All
And
that
see,
shit blew up, and I was like, damn, all right. And then I went to go watch a fucking video to take my mind off it. I come back, and there's like thrice as many, and I'm like,
Right.
I was
Right.
I was so devastated.
Yeah, for me, I went to bed around the, Senpai was kind of the focus of the discussion, at the time where I went to bed, and then I woke up, I saw a bunch of like messages from people, and I was like, wait, what on earth is happening? And I
Right.
saw people that are like, I'm so sorry for what you're gonna have to wake up to, and I was like, oh no. There was
Yeah,
just
That's what
this
I said.
feeling
That's
of
that's
dread.
literally what I saw.
Yeah.
Waking
There's
up
just
and
this
seeing
feeling
that
of
tweet from
dread.
Zeph. Yeah. Yeah.
And it was just like,
Connor's here too, everybody, by the way.
Hey, everybody.
I think
Welcome,
what
Connor.
really
Hey.
got me, like, what really got me was seeing Void react to all of it.
That shit was so
Mm.
sad.
I could
Yeah.
not, like, holy shit, man.
Yeah, I'm on like an hour and a half of sleep. I couldn't.
See,
I
I just woke up.
got
I went
no
to bed
sleep,
at
man.
like 3 p.m.
Yeah.
I'm jealous you guys are able to actually get sleep.
I got none, man.
Yeah, it's like
I got a good amount of sleep, but I slept pretty much like around the time, like just before the really big stuff with D1 and Nairo surfaced. So by the time I woke up, it had all been laid bare. Man, oof.
thinking on Void too, man. It's like, or like the first, I think, major event that I even like met a lot of the Japan Time people was like Apex years ago. It was like one of the old original Apexes.
Yeah,
And
it
I
was the
remember,
first Apex with Smash 4.
yeah. And I remember like Matt Houston being like, "Yo, this Sheik is like really, really good. Check this kid out. He's like really, really good." And that was the first time that I met Void. And
That was the first time anyone saw Void. That was like his
yeah,
first tournament in the
yeah,
US.
yeah. And I remember like thinking, "Oh, it's cool that the community is like this open, and that there's like fresh blood coming into the community, and like it's gonna keep it going forever." And man, just to like hear these stories about hotel rooms and assaults and like minors, that like the minor thing is like what really set me off, because it's all disgusting. But like I didn't know about the Senpai thing. I didn't know, like Zeph, you mentioned that came out last year. I didn't know anything about that. I didn't even hear anything about it. I thought it all just like
under the rug.
brushed under the rug, right?
Yeah.
And so I saw it, and then I saw the link to, I think it was like a VG boot camp thing. I don't know, it was like Xanadu or something.
Yeah, it was Xanadu. It was a
Yeah,
stalker.
where you see puppies playing,
Oh.
and then she's like behind. It's just like
And like you see
it,
how
it made
like,
me literally feel sick.
he's
I
so
felt
small,
sick.
bro. He was so small. He was.
He literally looked like he was like a 5th grader,
He,
man.
he looked like he was just. Okay, sorry. I
Dude,
hate.
okay. So
Okay, oh God.
I met Pape at Genesis 7 in 2017. So like a little bit after this had all happened, right? And I played against him in dubs at that tournament. I'm gonna tell you now, that kid was no taller than about 5 foot. He was like legit tiny, like really. Like, there's no-
legitimately.
You could see in the clip. I mean, you could see
Yeah.
in the picture where everyone had that picture of like him sitting next to their commentator, and yeah, he looks like he's 10, man.
Bro, he looks like he just started fucking puberty. She's like actually fucking twisted. She's disgusting.
And what sucks too about her in particular is that, especially now, I feel like girls needed a role model in the community. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Exactly.
And
exactly.
Yeah.
and so like to see this happen to like one of the biggest is
It's not even just a role model. It's like
no, it's not. It's not.
black
It's like
women of the community too. Like there
Right,
there
right.
aren't a lot, and
Right.
they need representation from somebody. And she just fucking like destroyed everybody's trust, and it's just terrible.
And Ultimate like commentary is so much more like personality based than Melee, I feel, because Melee is
Right.
more analytical a lot with its commentary to explain the game, while Ultimate is a lot more keeping the vibe going. And so I think a lot of people felt really connected to commentators on the Ultimate side of things, because
Yeah.
it's just because that they enhance the viewing experience so much. And so it's, I mean, seeing that, it's heartbreaking for anybody. It's the video made me physically sick, and I have
Yeah,
not
same.
I have not seen. I can't remember at any time I've seen something and physically recoiled like that.
I was mentioning before earlier in the stream, 2 out of the 6 people that were on commentary for Ultimate Summit, which was obviously towards the end of last year, Ultimate Summit
Right.
2, were outed as sexual offenders. And it's like, for the past almost year, I look back on that event with the absolute most fondness, because it was one of my favorite events to ever cast. You know, I thought this is such
Sure.
a great group of guys I get to commentate for in this really fun, chill event. And now it's difficult for me to even look back at that event in the same way. You know, seeing the other casts on the couch is just really jarring.
Or yeah, like someone brought up in the chat that thing where her not Twitch name but her Twitter name said like "speak up" or something, and then after all this came up, she changed it to "do your best,"
Yep.
Yeah, I
which
saw
is
that
just like,
happen.
what the hell?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Or like Nairo just deleting his Twitter, like first thing, like that. You don't delete your Twitter if you didn't do anything wrong. You know what I mean?
No,
Mhm.
no, dude, he didn't. He deleted like all his social media at once. It was crazy. He was like prepared for it.
Yeah, yeah.
And he came after the day before. I mean, it was the
Yeah.
same day
It
where,
was the same fucking day. Yeah.
yeah, he had Zach come up with a statement based on the allegations spreading again, and he had his own statement, and then Zach came out with the full thing. And he deleted his Twitter. He left his Discord. He never, like, to my knowledge, because I knew people were in there.
Yeah.
He even said anything to the people in his Discord. Neither him nor his brother. They said something in their mod chat to their mods about thanks for helping
Yeah.
out, but he's done, and that was
It's
it.
just it's something like to go out and like say earlier that like to try to put Zach under the bus and be like well you know they made it up and then convince him to say that he made it up like there's no remorse there like that's just so
No.
selfish that's disgusting.
The thing too that I keep seeing in like a lot of these apologies is, the excuse of like, oh, I was drunk. Like I was drunk. But I feel like that is such a lame and tired excuse because
Yeah.
like if you kill someone when you're drunk, it's still murder. You know what I mean?
When you're drunk,
It's like
it's you
your
have less of a
inhibitions get taken
filter,
away.
but
Yeah, but
at the core, it's still you. That's you.
right,
Exactly.
right.
I
And
don't
if
know
that
how
filter is
alcohol
gone,
got
that's how you
normalized.
truly are.
Yeah, I don't know how it
Yeah.
got normalized as like, oh, that wasn't me, or oh, I didn't have
Yeah,
like.
it's
I don't know how that became a normalized thing. It's
No. Yeah. I mean, I don't know either. I don't either. It just like I truly,
What's good,
we had
Tito?
our episode. Hey Tito, welcome. We had an episode last week. I thought it was a lot of fun. We were like talking about Midman and everybody was in there. We're having a good time. And D1 hops in, and I just like it was 5 days ago, not even. And then to find out all of this, like I think, these are all terrible, but the one that like hit me the most and like was the closest to home was D1
I'm
because
sorry.
I imagine like he's been such like a good friend in the community, and it's done.
Yeah. Fuck.
He's done like a lot for us for the show, and for all of us, and it sucks, man,
Yeah.
to find out that somebody that you were really close to was doing that, and it's not even like it was. It sucks, man. It sucks.
For me,
Even like the way when I read the story, not to cut you off, I'm sorry, but like
it's all right.
when I read the story and it was like, oh, it was on her 18th birthday. It's like even that comes off as like predatory and weird to me.
That
You know
makes
what I
it
mean?
worse.
It
makes
makes
it
it, yeah. It's like you were there waiting.
that was the
Counting
thing.
down the fucking minutes.
That was
Right,
the thing I had with Anti too. I was just like, how do you try to justify this by saying like, oh, they said they just turned 18 or whatever? Like, it's just so disgusting. Like, it's like the fact that that's even like at all something that in your head should be admissible. Like, I just I can't under like the scale of it. Like, it had so many people thought that this was okay or didn't.
And that it was, yeah, that it was so normal, right?
Yeah.
For so many people. And like I get again, like I get it's a kids game. There's going to be kids playing, and I understand like the community's got a wide range of ages, but like something as simple, I feel like there's no coming back. If you have assaulted someone or you've like done things with a minor, it's like it's unforgivable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's not, and this is all the stuff that like Dave like confirmed happened. Like it's not like they're denying.
That's the other thing too.
Yeah.
No, everyone's like, yeah, this is, or they're confessing to it, and it's almost like outing them, like outing. I don't know the right way to word this, but it was like I read Keitaro's, for example, and I think that was the one where he was like, I didn't know. Oh no, it was Anti's. Where he's like, I didn't know she wasn't 18, right?
And it's a fucking lie.
Yeah.
But it's like just ask. If you're
Yeah.
unsure, even like just ask. What's the harm in asking?
That means she looks young. Like,
Exactly.
And even then, it's like, if I recall correctly, like he still, offered her alcohol when
Mm-hmm.
I believe the age that she put originally was 18, and like, isn't the drinking age in the US 21? So why are you offering her alcohol anyway?
Yeah, they knew exactly what they were doing.
Yeah.
Exactly. You,
Yeah.
you don't invite a child to a party with alcohol without those intentions. Like I
Right.
don't see how that happens. It doesn't make any
Right.
sense. Like
Right.
there's no justifying it. There's no, well, this this is my excuse. Like first of all, alcohol's not an excuse. Second, to have a minor at a party with alcohol, it puts you liable for all that.
Sure.
Mm.
Sure.
Why are you even hanging out with a minor after a tournament?
that's what I said, bro.
Yeah.
That's the other
yeah.
thing. Yeah, man. It's like there's
Mhm.
so
what
many
the
people.
fuck is going in your
Acting-
head?
How much of a like low like do you have nothing going on in your life where you're a 30-year-old man hanging out at a house party with a 15-year-old girl? Do you not talk to any women? Do you not have friends? What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, come on.
Absolutely.
And I think so much of. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you.
No, please go ahead. Tito?
Tito?
Yeah, sorry, I was fixing my mic. I apologize.
Oh yeah. No worries. No
Make it
worries.
louder on mine.
I don't, like I said, I don't know what's been talked about. I just got here. I've been handling things all day, and for those of you who aren't aware of who I am and what I do, I was commentator for 5 years, but more than commentating, I ran a lot of production. So that being the case, running production, I see these people more than most people. Like just
Right,
because I have
right.
to deal with who, whatever. I've worked with a lot of these people. I mean, some of these people put me on, they've given me gigs.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to make something, and I'm always a very introspective person. I always try to be like, assess every situation in terms of how can I be better. That's just it's a flaw of mine. I just always bring it back to it's my fault. How can I fix it? That's just me. And the first thing I thought about when these started piling up is I started thinking, okay, how can I not even talking about the minor stuff, because that's common sense, right? That's common sense. No one should ever even be in that situation to begin with unless you're a freak. Like that's just not a thing that happened. But even between two consenting adults, it's still weird. Like, like it's still like a thing that people in general need to work on, is being able to pick up on social cues, which I understand there are psychological aspects of that can make it difficult, but more than anything else, it's just being able to be open to communication, because the worst that can happen if you approach it the right way is they say they're not interested, they're no, and then that's it. And then that's
Right.
it. That's the whole
Right.
that's the whole thing. Like I understand, and I don't want to go on a big rant, but like I understand how situations similar, not exactly, again, I want to be very clear, similar. For example, like two consenting adults, who were coworkers, get drunk and they sleep together, they both regret it, right? That's not what we're talking about, right? Two
No,
consenting
no.
adults who did a thing that they both regret afterwards, but they were fine with at the time because they know for whatever circumstances, right? That's completely different than what we're talking about. One party clearly did not want this to happen, right?
Right.
Like it's and I'm seeing this not on the Twitter that I'm trying to avoid a lot is people trying to equivocate the two, or in chats I'm seeing people trying to, well, it's kind of like, no, it's not. You can regret doing something physical, you can regret, there can be a miscommunication that's very different than you doing something that one person does not want you to do to them. Because let's take it to the extreme. If someone punches you in the face, you don't want that to happen to you. So if that were to happen to you, that would be a problem. So why is any other type of physical contact any different? Like it just doesn't make sense to me that people that I respected, and not all of them, because we could talk about it and I don't mind naming names, so I don't give a fuck, but some of them were just scummy people to begin with and I knew that. But like some of these people I respected their craft, bro. Like their craft. They were good.
Yeah.
D1 was the best. I don't give
Yeah,
a fuck
dude.
who I don't give a fuck who he
Bro.
was, the GOAT. No
Yeah,
one can tell me
dude,
otherwise.
honestly, like Tito, like that's exactly how I've been feeling, right? Because you know, I started commentary back in around 2014, 2015, and D1 to me was like
Those are your
a
role
model,
models, bro.
right? That's exactly
Right.
And like getting the opportunity to commentate with him back in like for the first time in like 2018, that was amazing to me, and now I can't look back on that and think of it the same way, and it's just fucked me up.
It's the first time I met him, he called me. He was at a Xanadu when Smash 4 just popped off. He asked me to commentate with him because I was new and he saw me grinding. He asked me to commentate with him. I commentated 1 30-minute block with him at a Xanadu. 2 weeks later, I'm getting booked at regional tournaments, getting paid, bro, to do it. Like, people don't understand. Like, fuck, like, oh my god, like I was a fan of his commentary. For people like me and Viram, that nigga was he was it, bro. He was it.
Yeah.
Like it's very different. It's very it's different, bro. Like
It's different because it's not so much that we've been like, I don't know, it's not that we've been fans of his commentary. It's literally our lives were changed for the better.
He's
Right.
literally
Right.
looked out for
Literally,
so many of
exactly.
us
Yeah.
in here. And
Exactly.
for him to just
Yeah.
fucking go and
Even me as a player, I never have ever wanted to be a commentator, but me as a young teenager who just started playing Melee in around
Right.
like 2010, even then, D1 was a prominent figure, and I always thought he was a cool guy. He was knowledgeable. He was
Of
funny.
course.
But you know,
Yep.
don't
just-
meet
for
your
me,
heroes or
like,
whatever the fuck.
like I said,
I got partnered because of D1, and then I would
Same.
see him at different
Yep,
events,
same.
and we would
Mhm.
spend
Same.
time just talking and things like that, and just like what got me is like when it first came out, I was like, I don't know, because he doesn't seem like it's the thing he would do. But then it was like when I saw Days also allegation of him, I knew, well, there's 2 of them, so
Right.
definitely no way.
and again, I feel like it's very important that I make that personally for me, because I'm always all right. So obviously, I would never dream of doing anything like any of these pieces of shit. I would never do that. But that doesn't mean that my interactions with not just people of the opposite sex, but anyone in general cannot be improved. Like I can always be a better
Of
person,
course.
Mm.
Of
right?
course.
So I'm like, what can I? That's how I process shit. I'm like, all right, fuck my emotions. What can I learn from this to be a better person? Let me go back to my life and be like, all right, did I do some dumb
Mhm.
shit when I was 15 that I could have done better now? Like that's just how I like. And I would highly suggest and stress to people who were like, you know, like just no one's obviously don't do scummy shit. That's not hard, right?
No, it's really
But
not.
it's not hard, right? But I can understand, especially when you're young, which a lot of these people are. Like we're all old as shit compared to a lot of these players. Like we have to remember that. Like we're old
Yeah.
as shit.
Mhm.
Everybody on
Because
Japan
I would
is a
say
fucking
most
grown
of us,
man, bro.
yeah, most of us we grew up with like the Brawl era. At least for me, I don't know,
Yeah.
I can't speak for
No,
everybody,
yeah.
but like for me, Brawl was like when I really got into it, and so many of the pillars of the community were already pillars of the community by the time that I was into it, and
Yeah.
recommending, oh look, go on Smash boards and talk to other people, and
Like it's just I think it's super important that like especially when you're young and again I don't want to like I want to make sure people know that I'm a credible source. I have a master's degree in child psychology. Like this is what I do. Like I'm a teacher. I deal with kids all the time. And the one thing that and all of you are not you as in call and not even you as a chat, but the Smash community as a whole, y'all are children, bro. Like that's what you are. Like you have to accept the fact that you have a very limited life experience. You don't know what it's like, and you are going to fuck up. But like, there's a difference between you know, going for a hug because you feel a connection and that person doesn't feel it and they tell you to back off or whatever, and you're like, oh, my bad. That's way different. No one would ever be like, man,
Of
fuck that.
course.
Like, no one would ever, because growing up, it's trial and error. Like, you don't know what you don't know, right? So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's, I
Of
understand.
course, because there's just some things that like you just don't do.
Right.
If somebody's
There's
passed
things that
out,
you
right?
don't
If
do.
somebody's so drunk and passed out, you don't take that as your opportunity to then
course.
try something, you know? Or like if yeah, I mean you put it best when you said it earlier, right? It's like two consenting adults can do something and then both afterwards be like, "Oh, that was stupid," and then move on.
Right.
But these like
That's
so many
like
of these involved
very
kids, which is like what I just
I'm saying. That's like, it's
it's
very,
like, and that they can't consent. They don't they don't know what it is. You don't know what this means. You know,
Yeah,
they're not.
like I've said
They're
this
growing. It's
that have been talking about this. These kids that are like 15, 16, if you are that age, you're going to be like me at that age and not believe what I'm about to tell you, but you are incapable of thinking the same way a grown adult thinks. It's impossible for you to have the
Right.
same sort of
Right.
thoughts as me. So
and Zev,
Right.
just
we're
to
on
back you up,
two separate levels of thinking. We should never ever be in any sort of situation other than just hanging out or like playing video games or talking. If you start
Absolutely.
doing sexual
Right.
shit with that it no matter what you do, if they say yeah it's fine, no matter, it's rape.
And especially
course.
like adding on to that, like at the time, a lot of these kids didn't realize at the time just what was going on. It's not until later where everything kind of falls into place in their mind, like, hang on a sec, this is what this person did to me at this time, holy shit. And that
Yeah.
kind of fucks them up for later years. I mean, I think you can read in Puppy's Twit Longer, like that shit fucked him up for a while afterwards. Like, he's 19 now and it still messes with him.
And she still hasn't even said anything,
18,
man. Like
19.
looking at, I mean that like,
Bro,
you know,
she
it's,
was
I feel
on
like we're
Twitter,
going through the
like,
stages
shit.
of like of like sadness and anger and confusion, and it's like
Yeah.
I'm on anger with her. It's like I how could you not say anything at all?
bro. And again, just to back up what Zev was saying earlier, the female brain. Let's not even talk about, because there are physiological differences between male and female. That's just how, like, whether you can think that they should be treated equal, and obviously that's how it should be. But we're talking biologically. The female brain develops around age 21 to 22. Okay, the male brain develops at 25 or 26.
Yeah,
So you're a
so
grown
like, some
ass,
of us even now in call are still growing.
right? Like,
Of course.
you're 25 or 26. If you're a male, with very few exceptions, your brain is just now developing to become a full-grown male brain. Okay, so if you're a 25 or 26-year-old, God forbid older, imagine how dumb, how naive, how ignorant a 15-year-old child boy is, or a 15-year-old girl is. Like, you have to, like, it doesn't make any sense. What makes a like, I get what you think. Oh, we're all in this fucking tournament. We're all doing the same shit, or that person's better play than me. We're all the same age. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. Just because y'all are doing the same thing, y'all hanging out together, y'all share hotel rooms, y'all gotta understand, y'all are born on different days and years, bro. You go to jail. You go to jail. Like it's the end of story. It's the end of it's, and that's the thing. Like, I don't want to get angry about it, but like, I don't think people understand. At the end of the day, these are real people making real dumb decisions, and
And
the
the
reason
severity of it.
and the
Like,
severity of those decisions.
yeah.
Because now you didn't fuck up person X or person Y for the next. You didn't. God forbid you just ruin the next year of their life free. By the way, for free. They'll never be able to do anything in public ever again with any of their friends ever without someone looking at them differently. Let's talk about that. But for the rest of their life, like, irreparable psychological trauma that people who are, that person is going to pass on to their children. Do they understand? That's all science. That's all fact. That's all fact. That's not opinion. I don't fuck with opinions. Like, I'm sorry. It's just like, it doesn't
Yeah.
sit well with me, bro. Like it
that
doesn't.
that kind of trauma is not something that ever goes away. It's something that you learn to cope, and I put that in like quotation marks, cope with. And
Right.
sometimes you don't even cope with it. It's just there and it's messing you up for the rest of your life, and there's nothing that you can do about it. And that's what's really painful about all of this.
Well, especially because, like, again, so much of this took place at Smash events, right? Like at Smash tournaments. And if your livelihood is just Smash Bros, like I feel like for a lot of us do different things, right? But for these players, this is like their livelihood. For some of these commentators, it's their livelihood. So you're going to every single one of these events. And if you're somebody who was taken advantage of at one of these events, and you see the same person at every event over and over and over again, I mean, it's going to bring back all of those negative feelings and the thoughts and the trauma and everything. It's going to bring it all back. You know, it's like the same way when you go on like Facebook, right? And you see a post of like an ex, right? And you think about it to a lesser extent, and you look at it and you're like, oh man, like this reminds me of this negative interaction that I had with them. Imagine that times like a billion at one of these events for somebody who was involved with one of these things. It's just
And again, I want to make it clear. I want to make it perfectly clear to a lot of people here who are in this chat right now, who are listening. Like I want it, if nothing else, I want you to understand the severity and the difference. Okay, I work at a public school for 5 years. Kids do dumb shit. Like that's just a thing that they do. They'll fucking, they'll send, a guy will airdrop dick pics in a classroom to all the girls in the classroom because they think it's funny. That's way different than a grown ass man taking advantage of a 15 to 16-year-old girl or a grown ass woman. Let's not forget about that. A grown ass woman, okay, doing dumb shit, okay, who got everything handed to them on a platter and still doing fuck shit. That's what pisses me off.
That's the worst part, is that no one noticed anything about Senpai because of how we view things. It was just like, oh, a woman hanging out with a little kid. I bet that kid's safe because women like kids. But obviously not. Because we should really stop with those kind of fucking stupid, like preset.
like gendered assumptions. Totally, I completely agree. Yeah.
I wanted to pick up on something Tito said there, because that what you said about that was Tito, right?
Yeah.
What you
was
said
Tito,
about a developing like child in like 15 and all that, like that was why, like, I usually hold my tongue publicly in regards to like stuff like this, and that was the wake up call for me. Like I could not anymore when I saw anti tweet out just trying to justify it and trying to claim that like, oh, I thought she was 18, like all this stuff, like the fact that there was zero remorse in that tweet longer at all. I was so beyond disgusted, just absolutely horrified.
And on the topic of Twitlonger too, it's like so many of these just feel like the most contrived, like removed from the situation apologies.
To a website to get a template,
right?
And then
exactly, to get like a template of how to apologize.
And how many people defended it? Like how many people were like, when you check
I wanted to bring that
not
up.
even anti, bro. The fucking Keitaro replies, where Keitaro straight
That's
up says in the Twitlonger that he says accidentally his dick fell into an underage girl. That's what he said.
Disgusting.
The replies were like, it's okay, bro. At least you came forward.
Yeah,
like
that's the
he was
problem.
30.
Yes, that is the issue, and I that doesn't just stick to Smash. I'm sure that's everywhere, but that is what needs to be called out.
Right.
That there is that like justification and like, oh well, she was 18. Oh well, it's what it's so mind-boggling that is a thought in people's heads that they think is like defendable. That is what we need to call out. That is what needs to change, as those of us that call it out and see it.
When people are saying they want to make this community better, it's that's one of the things that needs to be targeted. These people that are still like the people that are defending Nairo, Keitaro, Anti, all of these people still are just like, I don't know what's going through their heads. Like I can't even fucking form a sentence. It pisses me
I
off
think
so
I
much.
think what it is, right? I think everybody agrees that this is probably a huge portion of it, is that these are people who, just like when we were talking about D1 earlier in the call, right? These are people looked up to. These are figureheads of a community, and you
They're
don't
our
want to
friends that we're
believe. Yeah,
snaking around.
yeah, and you don't want to believe that that's the case. You know, you
And
don't want to believe it,
it
and
becomes difficult to
especially
rationalize. Yeah.
exactly, especially if you're someone who's just like a fan. And going back to what you were talking about too, like how young some of these kids in the community are, right? That are looking up to them, that they can't process, the admission of guilt or anything, like that's all something they can't deal with. And so their immediate thought is, oh, well, they explain themselves. So that's good. Thank you for explaining yourself. Now I better understand the situation. But they don't actually understand like the severity
Mm-hmm.
of it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And for me, it's like of all of them, I knew Keitaro the most of all of them because like I was at the loft a bunch of times and I would just hang out with all of them. We talk about Falco stuff and things like that, and just like because I know Keitaro's the type to do this dumb things and not think about it later. Like the second the accusation came up, I can't even be like with D1. I had doubt. With Keitaro, was like that probably happened, and like that, I feel like me feeling that about someone I know. It's just like that's I don't like it.
The sick thing about this as well, I just want to make sure everyone knows this very, very clearly. I'm not trying to be that fucking weirdo asshole that talks about shit in hindsight, but I promise you, I have heard things like this since 2014.
I have to.
And I heard about the Nairo stuff like a week before he got outed. I heard about everything, and I'm not even that into the community. I'm not a pillar. I'm not a figurehead. I'm nothing. I'm just a guy. Do you know how many people that are higher up know what's going on?
Me full
And they're
well.
on their streams saying, "Oh man, I didn't know what was happening. Oh
Mhm.
shit!" Like they're all liars. Please don't believe any of them. The only ones I think I'll give a pass to are like I 100% trust Coney. I think he's a fucking married man. He's too busy for this shit. EE seems fine. It's not everybody.
No.
But please don't believe anything that these people say until you're given a reason to.
Stop idolizing these people, man. They're just
Yeah,
playing
we,
a
we,
fucking
we
video
really
game.
fucked up by calling top players gods. No other game
Yeah.
does that.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I think that's a big thing that comes out of this too, right? Is the reforming of the community and how we avoid this by sort of like starting from scratch, right? Is I think like so many inappropriate jokes and stupid stuff were like part of the culture of Smash very early on, and I think that probably devolves from the fact that like or evolved from the fact that it was a young game, right? People were young and stupid when playing it the first time, and that was like the humor. And then people grew up with this, and it was just assumed like, oh, this is how things are. When in reality, it's like that then cultivates the atmosphere for all this shit to happen in the first place,
That's
No,
a really good point that
yeah.
Zeph made. Sorry about the idolization, because what's different about Smash is that we are so in between flip flop on whether we're grassroots, whether it's a major esport. You see
Yeah.
these other like esports, they're more comparable to, I would say, actual sports, where
Right,
these top
right.
players are almost celebrity like and unaccessible. With Smash, it's very different. You go to a tournament, you go to your local that a top player goes to, they're there like anybody else,
Right,
right? I mean, they
right,
might be
right.
treated differently, sure, but they are accessible. And it's now shown that people were abusing that accessibility to target people.
I will
Just
tell
because
you,
these guys are better at a video game than you does not excuse them from doing any vile shit.
And all
Hold
I'm
them to
saying
the
is some of these
exact
people
same
that got
standards to
exposed are
everyone
trash
else.
too. So like, just don't look up to anybody just because they have like a following.
Yeah.
Some of these players
Well, I
aren't
think
even
that's the important thing. Exactly. It's like
Yeah.
that everybody makes mistakes, but there's just some things like you cannot come back from some of this stuff. Like it's vile.
you're
Yeah.
right.
You know?
Roger, exactly. Let's kind of perfectly. You summed it up. Okay. No one is saying that in general. Obviously, not with this situation, but in general, nobody's perfect, right? Some people have road rage. Some people fucking, like some, you know what I'm like. Some people are assholes. Some people curse a lot. You know what I'm saying? Some people, like to post memes online and say bad joke. Like, but that's a completely different thing
Mm-hmm.
than doing something to someone that doesn't want something done to them, regardless of age. Like, not to mention age, rather.
Absolutely.
Like it's no one, like, people are weird. Like, people as a human, like, especially when you're growing up, you're still trying shit out. Like I said earlier, you're just still trying to figure out how to work with other people because you have no idea who the fuck you are.
Right.
So you're just like, oh well, I mean, just maybe she likes me. I don't know. Well, instead of being like, hey, I'm just gonna trip over my own shoes and my dick will fall in her, maybe,
It's
maybe,
unbelievable.
So
Said
stupid.
that.
That's true.
So
It's truly
fucking
like
stupid.
maybe.
I could
I
not
Vile.
believe that when I
Bro,
read
I'm
that.
telling you, I've tripped
Unbelievable,
a bunch
man.
of times. I've tripped a bunch of times at the mall. I've tripped a bunch of times. You know what I'm saying? Like, my shoes are never tight. Okay, I've never tripped and fall anywhere and my dick fall out. That's never happened to me. Okay,
No, not even fall out.
No.
Fall out and then fall into somebody.
Into
Yeah.
that's a
right,
two
right.
step process that I've never been a part of. So I don't know about
No
anybody
one's
else.
ever been a part of because it doesn't fucking happen.
No.
Yeah.
So,
I just like, man, I know we're jumping all over the place, man. I don't even know what Shofu's
I
gonna
don't think
do
we
right
should
now,
even
man.
have a structure for this because it's just
I know.
No.
It's just like
Oh,
it's just venting, but
rewinding slightly. You mentioned Coney before, and I just remembered back to something that he tweeted earlier today, and he himself said, "I'm absolutely not a role model. I just talk about a video game and don't take advantage of minors," and that's
right,
literally
right.
it. Like,
That's the barometer.
Yeah,
That's
you-
it. You don't take advantage of minors or assault people in hotel
Yeah.
rooms
you've
while
just
they're
got to
drunk.
act like a
What's-
normal, civilized human being. It's not difficult. It's really not.
and if you're Twitch sub to somebody as well, don't look up to them either because you're giving them money. Twitch subs are the literal equivalent of somebody on a subway playing an instrument and you throwing money into
Sure.
their hat.
Yep.
That's
Sure,
literally what
sure.
Twitch streaming is.
Yep.
We're just entertainers. That's all.
like, it's so, I'll vouch for Coney to the day I die. He's one of the best people I've ever met in my fucking life. I love that guy and his family. It's incredible. Okay. He's destroyed. Like, he didn't know what to say this morning. I don't know if anyone saw his shit.
I was watching a stream like at
Yeah.
what it was at 5 in the morning.
Yeah, it was like 5 o'clock in the morning.
I was
and
feeling for him, man.
I talked to him all day yesterday. Talked to him like, it's just
The shit that happened. Here's what I'll say from my perspective. I stepped away from Melee a few years ago because there was shit going on in the community that I didn't know how to deal with personally on a personal level. With the stuff going on now, I feel like it's my responsibility not only to come back and help make it a better place, but also better myself because of what I failed to do when I first left. So I think that's the big thing I want people to take away from this is to not really focus on the bad, but make it a better place for the people who are still here and
Yeah.
want to make it a better place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
I think
just to be a little more positive. I don't want any of you young kids that play Smash to quit because of this.
Yeah.
These people are being taken care of. I promise you, you will be safe at events. I haven't been to an event in like 10 years, but I think I'm going to start going to them, just in case. Honestly, and just
This fucking
be a
game has
support system.
done so much for me,
Mhm.
and like I feel like I owe it to everyone, at least for in some way, to help whoever's struggling or anything like this going on.
yeah, that's exactly it. Honestly, just for me, like I've been in the competitive Smash community for the past 8 years now, and it's literally it's such an involved part of my life and such an involved part of who I am. I literally cannot picture myself as a person had I not been a part of this community, and I know there are so many other people that feel that way, but at the same time, we cannot tolerate the behavior that these people are exhibiting. And as you guys said, we just have to just work after all of this is kind of I don't even want to say settled, because I don't think it's ever really gonna like settle.
No.
But we really just need to, you know, act like proper people, act like proper adults, be responsible, and just try our best to make the community feel like a good and comfortable place for anyone who wants to be a part of it. Because so many people, there's going to be so many kids playing Ultimate out there, and they, you know, they're having a great time with the game, or Melee, or whatever game it is, and they just want to be, you know, they're seeing this competition, they're like, oh yeah, I want to be a part of that. And that's exactly how anyone who joins the scene feels. And we have to really make that inviting and really make them understand what is good about this community.
Yep. And I wanted to expand on what Zeph said in terms of trying to see a positive. This is something I said on my stream earlier, but while I'm grieving for the Smash scene and I'm heartbroken over all this, I'm also proud of it in a way, because the reality that this is not that there's just a predator problem in Smash Bros. I think that this shows and should show people that this is a problem everywhere. We saw it in Hollywood. We saw it here now.
Wrestling.
Wrestling everywhere.
Yep.
This is a worldwide problem where people in positions of power are being predatory towards the opposite sex, towards the same sex, towards minors. It is a constant problem. So good on the Smash Me for speaking up. Like, let's take this situation and hope that we get these people out of everywhere. Other people in other communities speak up, and we rebuild and we make this the place it should be. Because it's real, and if you think it stops here in Smash, you're wrong.
Yeah, it's in so many different other places, and as you mentioned, like the fact that it's coming up in Smash in the grand scheme of things is a good thing, because it means that we can get these people out and we can actually make this place better and make it feel like the safe space that a lot of people want it to be.
Yeah, and you know where we are right now, it's the kind of thing where I don't blame somebody being like, I don't want to have anything to do with the Smash community right now, you know? Like I completely understand. But if this was what needed to happen, right, for people to grow up and see, you know, that this needs to turn into something else. This needs to be a safe community for people where kids can go and not worry about being taken advantage of, or you can go to a party and not worry about getting drunk and then somebody taking advantage of you. It's the same thing. It's like, you know, you look at the FGC and you look at the fighting game community and you see, obviously, all the games, they have their issues. You know, we didn't even touch on Evo at all, the stuff with Mr. Wizard, but I mean, like, that's a whole thing now too. Over the course of us doing the episode, has he been removed from Evo? Is that what their new statement is?
Yeah.
Yes, they removed him and canceled the
Yeah, so he's
online
officially
game.
removed. But I mean, like, that's going to take work. Getting the rest of the community together again, like understanding, like, yeah, oh, this will be safe. We're gonna have good people in charge of things, where you can go to this event, you're not gonna feel like stalked, right?
I have
Like
to
I
interrupt
went
you,
to Evo last year. I went to Evo
I
last
need
year.
I need to step out for just a second. I'll be back.
Oh, go ahead. Go
Something
ahead.
happened.
Can we pivot topics real quick? I mean, we're still keeping it
Of
on
course.
the same kind of discussion.
Of course,
but
yeah, of course.
there's what's the whole thing with PK going on? Because a lot of people
That I'm trying to find that out too. I don't know.
So
yeah, 'cause a lot of people in chat are
accusations
talking
came
about.
out.
PK had some allegations earlier today. PK's basically on
Like,
stream
stress
right now.
what PK
Not
it is,
this
right?
is not PK Sparks. To
No, it is
correct.
not
Yeah,
PK.
this is
Okay. Okay.
Like, not PK Sparks. PK is on Shizzy's stream right now, basically defending it, saying he's not. Basically, he's doubling down. Essentially, like
What the hell?
I just.
I don't get this shit, man. I don't. What? Oh my fucking god.
And I know some of you guys in chat wanted me to bring up Shizzy's stream, but I'd rather not do that if he's kind of in a state at the moment, just out of respect for him. If you like, yeah.
Damn. To double down on that is just like disgusting to me.
I'm
To double down?
very worried about Shofu. He's a
Dude,
grown ass man, but that's my friend.
Even still,
same.
like,
I mean,
all
all
these
of us. He's
people,
the one
like,
missing right now of all. The main cast is War Champ is in here too. I don't know Mike's listening in, but yeah, it's like Shofu. Oh, Mike's here. All right, perfect. Yeah, man. Like 'cause Shofu for me, and you guys know this. I've talked about this on the show before, right? Is I wouldn't have a YouTube channel if not for Shofu. I wouldn't be anybody if not for Shofu. Being able to do Japan time and even like when I was writing reviews for video game websites and stuff, right? It was the kind of thing where I would look on YouTube and I would try to find like good content to watch. And Shofu stuff was always like, oh, the best of the best. And yeah, to then meet so many of these people through what we've created with Japan Time and through the community and knowing Shofu's relationships to those people and my relationships to those people and all of our relationships to those people just through being colleagues on a podcast or talking about a topic, like whether it's a new character or a pick of the day, whatever. It's just, it hurts, man. And yeah, I really do like. I hope Shofu's okay, buddy. I want to check up on him after this because I don't know, man.
Here's
Hey, I'm. Fuck,
good?
man.
I'm assuming
You need
it's
to step away again, Zeph.
Yeah.
If you do, that's
Fuck.
completely fine.
I don't want to be a fucking drama queen, but fuck. Okay, well, PK basically came forward about group. Fuck. Grooming minors and was with an underage girl.
What the hell?
I've known him for 10 fucking years, man. That's close to half of my life. I'm not crying because I'm sad. I'm okay, chat. I'm so fucking mad.
We get you.
And this shit has been just building up. Holy fucking shit. Okay, I'm just gonna mute for a sec.
Do what you got to do.
I would. It's very difficult for me at times to really express physically my emotions. I'm just not that kind of person. But what I will say, and trying to process everything that's happening, that at the end of the day, at the end when your head hits the pillow, the only persons whose actions you can really control are your own. Like you can't tell, and everyone's gonna do what they're gonna do. But if I strongly advise everyone in the chat, and I know everyone in this call is a good fucking person, otherwise I would not be here, that they just take some time to reflect, take some time to like just take care of yourself. If you might be going through a lot on top of all this bullshit, take care of yourself, go for a run, whatever you got to do. Tomorrow the sun will rise. It has to. It's going to. Okay? And all you can really do is just like control your own actions and try to be the best person you can be. Like just try to be a better person than when you were yesterday. If you do that every day, you'll be fine. Like I promise, like it sucks and it's awful, but just take care of yourselves. That's really, I just want to make sure that we say that. I don't want to speak on behalf of anybody else, but I mean, I just want everybody in this call, all of my friends and everyone in chat, to just make sure to take care of yourself. You can feel everything you want to feel, but
especially during times like this, when just it feels like the whole world is kind of crumbling down, the whole world is on fire. Everyone's having to deal with so much more in terms of just mental health problems and arguably over the past few years. Even if you're having what feels like a good year, it still feels like a shit year.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because of that where we really need to just take into consideration everything that's been happening, and just, as Tito said, just keep working on yourself. Keep trying to be the best person that you can be. Look out for your friends. Make sure that whoever's really close to you, friends and family, whoever's really close to you, make sure that you can check up on them as well. And just be good people. Just try your best to be a good person. That's all we can ask of you. That's all you can ask of yourself.
Also, I'd say whenever tournaments do open up, make sure you know who you're staying with and all this stuff. I reading all this stuff, since I think back to times I've hit up people and stayed with them, nothing happened. But it's just like,
Yeah.
now the thought goes to my mind, what could have happened? Like, I didn't know about the yellow blue allegations. I read that a bit ago. And like, his thing was like, well, he invited the person over, but he was sleeping. He touched him inappropriate while he was asleep. And like, that was at the loft in New Jersey. I stayed at that house so many times. And like, I had no idea that even happened there. And it's just like, you should be really careful.
It's just, and Vir, we've actually had a similar conversation several times, and it kind of goes back to what we were talking about. You shouldn't be idolizing these people, and I think that a lot of the root of a lot of this, people only do things that they know are wrong if they feel like they can get away with it. That's human nature.
Right.
So people are going to do X, Y, or Z if they feel like, oh, like I'll be fine. Like, I'll take an example. A kid is going to cheat in my class on my test if they feel like they can get away from it. But if I ensure that they cannot get away with it, then they're less likely to do it.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, these people felt like they could do X, Y, or Z because they felt like they could get away with it, because they saw themselves in a different light than Viram and myself have spoken about how we see ourselves. Well, a lot of these people who are doing all this bullshit, when they go to events, they felt that the event was a vacation, that they were able to party and do whatever they want, and regardless of how they belong play the tournament, as soon as that was over, they can go and do whatever the fuck they want. To people like Viram and me, we're going there for work. It's a job. Viram is my co-worker. I would like, you're at work.
Yep.
Like, if Viram and I had a block at CEO one year, Viram was my boy, but he's my coworker first. Everybody there is a coworker. So it's like, a lot of these people who out here doing all this fuck shit, thinking that the fucking tournament revolves around them, is because they don't take their job seriously. They don't take none of this shit seriously. And that's a huge problem.
It's
Like,
the blending of everything, right? It's the blending of like the friendships and thinking they can get away with it, and having it be a work environment at the same time, right? Having a work environment and a party and a tournament and all these other things. It's like a get together with all your friends and all your coworkers, and not understanding like the level that you're at. And
Yeah.
You know why?
It's so
fucking
essential to make that
children.
distinction. Yeah.
They're children.
that's still the thing. I know it's like,
No, the
because
people
again, it's
who
all
are
bad,
doing
but
it-
the kid thing in particular for me,
yeah,
hearing this shit is, and from people that like we've considered friends.
Yeah.
You heard Zeph talking about PK, and this is like coming out while we're recording this. It's just, it's a mess, and it feels like, I don't know, man, I don't know.
I had a long, heated discussion with someone, and I'm not gonna out that person, but they were basically had a certain point of view that was opposite of mine. I'm a firm belief, and I've said this to Shofu, I've said this to Viram, and he's been in call. I think McDermott has been there in Shofu's call when I've said this. People need to start calling the fucking cops. Like, what are we doing? I don't care. You know why? Because they're gonna, unless you the moment someone starts calling the cops, people are just gonna stop doing it. People are out here trying to run people over with cars and shit. We don't call the cops. We don't. JK tried to run that nigga over with his car, bro, and he didn't call the cops. I get it. I understand. Like, it's one of the most underreported, sexual assault is one of the most underreported things in the country. It's a social issue. It's It's a women's rights issue. It's a police issue. I get that. But they're going to keep doing it if they feel like no one's going to get away with it, bro.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, what, what are, like, I'm trying to keep it composed and trying to keep it professional, but like, until someone,
I know how we feel about the cops too,
like,
especially
I know,
now.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I promise you, if you get hurt by somebody, and you're a little child and a kid, sorry, that sounded condescending, and you get hurt by somebody way older than you, the cops will help you. They won't turn you away. There are horror stories of women going to cops and bad things happening.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand that.
Right.
But I promise you, children, you'll be fine.
It just doesn't. Like I said, I understand. Like, I get it, and everything's involved with calling the police. Not a lot of people have had police pull up on their house. Like, I have. Like, I understand. I get it. Zeph's right. Like, we get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but at the end of the day, let's say I'm person A, and I do something and I violate person B, and you ban me from the community. Oh, what happens when I stop caring? Okay, I'm just gonna go do it to person C or person D. But because I know that nothing's really gonna happen to me, I can go to work the next day. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, I mean, as dramatic as it seems to be like banned from the community, in the grand scheme of things, it really is a slap
It
on the
ain't
wrist. It's a slap on the
Right,
wrist. You
right.
can you can get on with your life just fine, even not being a part of this community. It's not difficult, but that's the thing. Like, if you're gonna, considering what these people are doing, you can't let them get away. We can't let them get away with just a slap on the wrist. It needs to be something more severe, or at the very least, we need to attempt for it to be something more severe.
For sure.
It's just I don't fuck with like that energy. Well, the cops are gonna fuck it up, so why call them in the first place? I don't fuck with that energy. That's really shitty energy. That's like saying, hey, look, I know this person pulled a knife out on me, but I'm gonna go ahead and let them stab me because I know I can't beat them anyway. Like, what kind of energy is that? Imagine if, God forbid, I have a daughter and she gets violated. God forbid, right? What would I want her to do? Make a twit longer? Like, what the fuck are we talking about, bro? Like, shit don't make no damn sense. Make no damn sense. We haven't even talked about Mr. Wizard. Like,
No, I know. We were like discussing all that.
Oh, yeah.
The
There's
PK
just,
thing is like really messed with me now.
Yeah.
Now I'm seeing like the chat
I'll be back again.
yeah.
and like the early days of Pokemon. Even it goes back to like, well, I thought this was a Pokemon issue initially, right? It seemed like there was all this awful shit going on in the Pokemon community, where I don't know. I felt like I wasn't doing streams or like battles anymore, and I felt out of it, and I felt removed from it, and I was like, oh, this is going to be a lot better. And it seemed like people were moving on, and like all the nappy stuff came out, and it seemed like, okay, good, things are getting better. You know what I mean? It's like things are actually improving. And then like Nappy came back and like streamed again, and still had all these supporters after everything. And it goes back to what you were saying with the accountability thing, right? It's like people need to see actual real like punishments for this stuff. Otherwise, they're going to keep doing it.
Like, in the wake of the past accusations that come out, Twitch has banned a lot of those people. So I really think if Twitch is still being serious about that, obviously they must have gotten wind of this stuff by now. The people accused who admitted should be banned. Like,
Well, and so many of these people too, man. It's like they're partners. They're partner managers. You know, it's like D1 was my partner manager, and then I got a new partner manager, and then that partner manager, there was a whole thing about him, and it's like it's just rooted in the platform.
Yeah, and
And
it's a distinction, McDev, by the way. People who have been accused and either admitted it or there's evidence saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's
right.
Of
Yeah.
course, of course.
I'm not, because people can accuse, I'm not trying to say that because guys do this too, guys
Sure.
and girls, but like people be out here accusing people to like get a bag. Like that happens all the time. Be like, hey, this person did X to me 17 years ago. Like, and then they're like, no, I didn't. Like, so it's like, but yeah, like people who be getting accused and shit, and either they admit to it or there's like hella evidence. Like,
That's what shows me how normalized this is. That like there was like it's straight up admission, and with certain people a lack of remorse and almost a justification. It's I don't know how to put words to that. I don't know how to put words to that. I don't know how to. What opinion can I give? Like, there's
Unfortunate. That's just the impressionability these people had.
yeah.
That they either took advantage of or didn't hold up to the standards for that impression required, because people believed them. Like they were very close to say something. This stuff came out. Oh, that can't be true, or oh, the other person must have done something to, or oh, they wanted it. That kind of nonsense. But it's just like, it's the end of the day, especially because the two underage ones with Nairo and Keitaro, it just annoys me because like you should be old, you should be mature enough to just say
Nairo,
no.
I mean,
Just say no.
Keitaro is older than most of us. How do you not know better? Yeah, even at the time when this happened, how do you not know better?
that's fact.
There's no excuse. If you're 30, going after somebody who's 16, like, there's absolutely no excuse.
I don't know about
None.
y'all, but I want sex offenders to be like, if you are committing sexual assault, I would rather you just be a registered sex offender, like, you know how you would be in the real world. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Like,
Yep.
do you understand? I don't think people understand how that works. If you caught streaking, you could be a registered sex offender. If you were pissing in public, you're a registered sex offender in a lot of states.
Mhm.
Like that's law. If you're drunk and you're out pissing on the side of the road, a cop wants to pull you over, he could register you as a sex offender because you
Yep.
got your dick out. But you know, these people be out here fucking 15-year-old girls and shit like that. But you know, we'll just ban them from the community, and you know, that'll show them. Get the fuck out of here with this energy. Like I can't.
Yep.
I just like
They're
that's
banned from like public gatherings.
bro.
which
They
are-
can't go outside, bro.
Yeah, they're tournaments, and these people are coming to tournaments, and people are knowingly allowing this.
Right.
Like this was an open secret. Is I think the best way to put it among so many people.
It's just
It hurts too, because like I know we're like on the fringe, right? We're not really like the #1 Smash podcast or whatever for all the jokes and stuff that we'll make. You know, we're not like, most of us are not as heavily involved in the community as a lot of other people. And so it's almost like we know a lot of these people, right? We personally worked with a lot of these people. And to feel like you don't actually know these people and to hear this stuff come out, it's
It's so jarring.
it is. There's no good way to describe it. It's
again,
just, it's jarring, and it hurts you, because then you're like, well, should I have seen this? You know what I mean? Because then it's like, you know, it's like what Zeph was bringing up earlier, where Zeph was saying that so much of this was known within like this group of the community, and yet it's like, then you sit over here and we're shocked by some of this, and it's like, how could we not have known? You know,
It's
some of these
just
stories,
this-
like,
I was just gonna say, it's just this really heavy sense of guilt that you can't help but feel. Like even if you try to rationalize it, it's like, well, why didn't I see this coming? Like, you spend a good amount of time with these people trying to get to know them as people, and then it's like, well, it just leaves you with this sense of absolute like frustration. Like, could I have done something? Like, did I need to observe this better? Like, what? Yeah, it's just I don't even know how to word this.
I get an anxiety attack. I remember, Viram. I think it was either CEO or whatever block you and I commentated, because I think it was the same event. It must have been 2016. No, 2017.
2018 is when we
2018,
commented. Yeah.
excuse me. It was 2018. I remember because that was the fucking the first Daytona one.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I remember this like it was my fucking. I got done with my block, bro. I was a teacher at the time. As a teacher, and in general in life, okay. But I kind of make a joke out of it, back then, and I still do now. Where I put up with kids 8 to 9 months out of the year. I'm not trying to fucking hang out with them. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like so, it's like,
Yeah.
Of
but
course.
so I choose who I hang out with. I hang out with the same like 6 people at every event I go to. It's like Gimmer, Calvin, Scott, Jess, Vera Mavi's there, TK, Coney. Like it's the same like 6 or 7 people. I remember getting food with anti PB and J and like that crew just because they happened to be around because they were all just walking around doing nothing as they normally would do. We got food and they were like, "Hey, bro, we're gonna go back to the room, play some shit." You know what I'm saying? All right, cool. I'm down. I'm not really trying to play, but I'll go. I went to the fucking room, bro. There were people there in the room. People there chilling. It looked like they were drinking. Again, I don't know half these people. I don't hang out with them. And the amount of times where I'm like, I don't even remember faces. I just remember there being females there. And I'm just like, bro, I didn't even think about it at the time, but now I'm just like, bro, I left just because I get social anxiety. They're like, get me out. There are too many people in this room. And I go back to my room and I hang out by myself for the rest of the night. Or like one person comes over and we like talk and shit like that.
Mm.
I can't help but think, bro.
Yeah.
If I would have stayed in that room, bro,
What would have happened?
bro, could I have
what would
stopped
you
somebody
seen?
from doing some dumb shit? Could I have boxed somebody? I'll box anybody, bro. I will box. I can't get it out of my head, bro, because that's like that. That happens all the time for me at events. It happened all the time. I would go to these rooms. There would be people in the room. They'd be drinking. I didn't drink until I was 24. I just didn't. And I'd be like, nah, bro, I'm gonna head out. It
But
plays
that's
over and over in my fucking mind, bro. How many people I could have saved, bro.
It's, I think,
What,
well,
wait, whoa, what are we? Whoa, what happened?
hindsight is 2020. This is the thing, right? Like it's, and this kind of goes against what I was saying before, but like it's easy to kind of guilt trip ourselves into thinking like, oh, we should have been there, we could have done something, but at the same time, we had our own stuff to do. There were things.
What's the problem right now? What are you guys talking about? Sorry, I just came back.
All right, Tito was just talking about this time when he was at CEO. There was just a period where he ended up hanging out with PB&J and Anti, and that group of people went back to their room for a bit, and there were women there. After a while, he left, and he was just talking about how he could have, if he stayed, could he have done something or prevented something from happening. But in the grand scheme of things, I'm saying that's not really something that.
Yeah, like I'm a cry again explaining this chat. So if you don't want to hear it, you don't want to cry because I know some people are
It's okay.
empathetic criers.
We already
Go
did.
for
We're
it.
all right.
But
We're okay.
you just can't. I knew PK for 10 years. 10 years. That's, like I said, that's almost half my life. It's a little bit off, but I didn't know anything. Like, he talked to all these girls, and even he hit on my friend Aaron, and I thought it was harmless because it was just PK, but it wasn't harmless, and he was never ever harmless. He was hurting people this whole time that I've known him, and I can't believe it. I'm hurting so bad for Scoot and Shizzy. They were the only people, and even Shofu, that he joined sometimes, but it was mainly them. They were the only people who ever said what needed to be said to him. Like, they would check him. They would try to give him life advice because he wasn't doing anything. He was just like complacent and he needed help. But he never took their advice, and now here we are with this is the ultimate betrayal. I can't even imagine how. Joey too. You're right. I
Joey,
he slipped my
completely.
mind. Joey has tried to help PK more than I can fucking count. Joey is one of I would shoot myself in the foot before wronging Joey. He's such a good person, and I'm if you're out there and PK did do some weird shit to you, I'm really sorry, and please say something. I'm gonna mute again.
I know what you're saying, bro. Both of y'all, you and Vera. It's kind of hard to like not blame yourself.
Yeah,
You know?
it is. It's
Like
but
it's like
Yeah.
but all we can do from here is try,
Right.
keep trying to make wherever we are better. You know.
Yeah, and like, and the question with that too is like, where does it start? You know, like where's like a good starting spot? You know, because obviously this is good. A cleansing, I think, is probably the right beginning, but to then ensure that it doesn't happen again. You know, because I mean that's a whole big. How many times have we talked about it on the podcast since the beginning? You know, with the fight between the Smash community and Nintendo, and like not having that support, and the grassroots aspect of it, and like this is why. This exact situation is why there's never been support, because with all the grassroots stuff and with nobody being checked, right, comes all of this, and it's the kind of thing that like it sucks because that we want Nintendo's support, but they don't want to put their name behind something that's like being run by people who don't have the best interests of the community at heart, and who are taking advantage of people. Minors, like fuck, man. And that's I think that's a big thing too. Is then figuring out like how to work with Nintendo on this, having a really good like set of rules. Like I forgot you tweeted something earlier, Vera, and I bookmarked it and I can't find the bookmark right now.
I don't think Nintendo ever wants to attach themselves with the shit ever again.
I can't. Yeah, I don't know.
Was it my little video that I made a few hours ago?
No. It was like the new rule set that's in place.
Oh yeah,
that,
yeah,
the team region one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where it was like
yeah.
there's no venue bars, and that like attendees, if you're under 16, you have to have a guardian with you, and like you can't have alcohol if it's not an 18 plus event. I mean, there's like all these other things in place that like those should have been in place from the get go.
Absolutely, and that was something that I wanted to expand on when Tito was talking about it earlier with the parties and stuff. As someone that doesn't go to many nationals, I would constantly see after tournaments, I would see these crazy extravagant parties, and it just seemed like there was such a party culture around Smash.
It's
And
really fucking stupid.
yeah, when I took a step back, I think, and I'm like, we realize this is a game for everybody. How many?
Right.
This is a kids game. Like it's for everybody, but at the end of the day, it's like mostly kids. Like how does this culture surround this? It's that kind of stuff that like I wish that I had called out earlier. It
The
just
real reason
yeah.
I genuinely believe is that these people just never grew up. They
Yeah.
peaked in high school, or maybe even didn't, and they're just that's all they know is fucking
Partying
so
and
many just party.
Yeah.
There's so many people like that.
It's
and
not
there's
even just
and it's
after.
important to note like there's nothing wrong with partying. There's nothing wrong with like having a good
No,
time.
of
It's
course not.
when minors are involved and people are being taken advantage of. It's when bad stuff happens. Nobody's saying don't have parties at big events. You know, it's fun.
Right.
You have a dance party, you have
I think it's
anything. It's fun, but there need to be rules in place to keep people who could be hurt in those situations from getting hurt.
I think it's more so that these guys are in a community where they've been projected to the top of the top, and they feel like they can do anything, and if anyone crosses them, they can turn whoever is under their palm of their hand because they've been at the top for years and they have all this power. But It needs to stop, man. This is fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, because I think the biggest thing from this is the current party culture definitely has to go, like,
Yeah.
extremely. Because
Yeah.
like I was gonna say, it's not even just after events. Because I can remember specifically, before Evo, I was hanging out with the Loft guys, and they were just drinking the first night, and I was in the room, and I remember Styles and Dom were there, and like, and nothing with them, right? But it's just like, it's just a serious thing of why are we doing this now? You know, there's a tournament tomorrow, and then before Royal Flush, the last one that happened, there was a party before that. Well, not really a party, but like drinking and gambling with everyone before that, which is like
Yeah.
part of the event. But like, this is before the event even starts, and it's like, yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
I kind of see what you're saying, but I mean, I'll be open, okay? I'll be open about it, you know. But have I done? And this has actually only ever been at Xanadu, like and it started, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. Last block, the first thing I do when I'm done with my last block as commentary is I take a shot. That's the first thing I do. I don't drink really before that, unless I'm at Xanadu, when I'm drinking with Jess, who is Tantalus's wife, who's a grown ass woman with kids, and like she's my really good friend, and we're not even like drinking. We're just like chilling. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Like
also Tito, how old are you?
I'm a grown ass man. Like,
Exactly. So like if you want a shot after you've done a commentary block, no one's saying don't do that.
no,
You
yeah.
know?
What I'm saying is that like it ties back to what McDareth is saying, ties directly into the fact that because I'm a grown ass man, I can make that decision.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Of
but
course.
these people who are 20, 19, they can't even, they don't even, like, it's the same thing. Like, everyone knows you go to college, you go away for college, and you party, and everyone gets fucking drunk and they all throw up and they all get hungover.
yeah, that's my other thing. It's like, it's not even like they're having little drinks. Sometimes they're getting shit faced drunk.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
like,
So many smashers are weird like that. I don't know what it is. So many of them are like alcoholics. It's fucking super weird. One person that was actually really bad with alcohol, I would normally feel bad about outing them, but they're a piece of shit, is Keitaro. He's had like a history. I've heard a lot.
It's just,
It just,
I don't think they should be serving alcohol at events unless the event is unless it's at a restaurant or a bar. And even then, I don't feel like you should be able to drink. You shouldn't be able to carry that drink wherever you want. You should be able to have to drink it at the bar because there are little ass kids there.
Yeah.
And that's what, going back, was like when we take a step back, like there's kids being preyed on. This is a game that is so accessible and kids love and want to get in and learn how to get into esports through Smash and want to look up to top players and stuff. And
It could be such a good learning opportunity for esports.
it could be so good. And it is just mind-boggling to me how normalized like the party culture, like frat house culture around Smash is. Like how, like I would not feel safe sending my kids to a tournament if I knew what I knew, seeing what goes on at these tournaments with these extravagant parties and drinking. Like I would be uncomfortable with that. Like this seems like something that would go on at a college party, not a game that is for everybody. A tournament for a game that's for everybody is what I mean.
And this is kind of like a backstage thing for a lot of people in chat saying to ban alcohol entirely. That's going to be impossible. Okay.
Yeah.
Reason being is because a lot of these venues are at convention centers. They're at hotels. They're at places with bars. And part of the contract that you sign, a lot of these places, they'll sign deals with the hotel to get discounts on drinks because they know that there will be people over the age of 21 there. And they'll and that's just part of the deal. That's just a thing that happens because it's as long as unless you want all of these shits to happen at a Chuck E. Cheese where they don't, and even then they sell beer, or unless you want no food or drink at any venue, then if you're gonna have an event, they're going to sell alcohol. That's the end of that's going to happen. Period. Even the Red Bull people sell alcohol, bro. You remember that, Virum? When fucking the Red Bull girls, they be out here selling alcohol, Red Bull shits.
Yeah. Oh my God. What the? That's
Bro,
that's
they
super
give
jarring.
it to you, bro.
Fucking crazy.
Like it's so just want to make that kind of back. You know, the alcohol is a problem, but it's a little bit more complex, just given the fact that where these venues are,
Yeah.
where the tournaments are, you can't get rid of it, because that's how a lot of these venues are going to make their money back. They're not going to make their money from the door. They're going to make their money from the food and alcohol, and the overhead on the rooms.
And one more thing about the alcohol is, I just read it in the chat too. Drinking alcohol doesn't turn you into a pedophile.
In fact,
That means you're a pedophile before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not pedophile juice. You don't drink it and decide, well, I'm gonna go swim with this kid. Nah, you would have made that decision sober, or maybe you wouldn't have, but you've thought of it multiple times.
All right, I'm gonna step out now because
all right, bro.
All right.
I got
Feel you,
you.
Toast.
Take care of yourself.
Take it easy, guys.
Good night.
Good night, Coast.
That's a great point to make.
Yeah.
Is that if you're in chat, you need to be out here drinking water and shit. You need to be sleeping and shit. You need to go for a walk or a run or some shit. Go take care of yourself. Like,
I think Zeph really did put it best though, with just saying, because that's how I felt like reading so many of these apologies. Is it's not going to turn you into like a monster if you didn't already have that inside of you. You know?
Yeah.
Like a little bit of alcohol is fun sometimes, but
Yeah.
if you're like, you have definitely thought about stuff with minors if you drink and then do stuff with minors. So if you
Exactly.
think about shit like that, just don't drink. You can have fun without alcohol.
it's just nobody's a, and that's another thing. No one tells you what to do in an event. Like, no one's out here being like, these are the things you need to do, or things you like. No one's doing that shit. Nobody's doing that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe I don't know how you would. Like, I don't know how you put out a PSA or you put a disclaimer. Jabali's really good about that. Like, I'll shout out to him. He's really OD about that. It's just like, if you're signing up a minor, you know, or a little kid, he'll email you, and he has a disclaimer on the shit to be like, this is where the bathroom is. Like, he's OD with that. Like, shouts to him. But like, not every tournament's gonna be that, you know.
Yeah.
It's just it really be your own, huh?
That's what it all boils down to.
Yeah. And then knowing, after hearing everything, questioning how can we make things better from here? How can we?
We are.
Yeah,
Right
and
now.
exactly. I think this right here
This is the
a
first
good
step.
step. Exactly. It's talking about it. It's figuring out how we got here. It's
Yep.
making progress. It's setting new rules in place. It's making the tournaments more safe, right? And then that goes into like everything else. Who the commentators are going to be now, and
There's
it's
a lot
everything.
of shitheads,
Everything.
but there's a lot of good people that are still left.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nobody in
Yeah.
the core cast of Japan Time has ever done anything like this. I promise. We're all fucking sane people. At worst, some of us, me especially, have said like mean things in the past to people, but that's just being mean and young and stupid. But I wouldn't say young, but whatever. We I just want people to know that this community isn't dying. The Smash community isn't dying. I don't really. I've dunked on the Smash community so many times, saying, "Man, I wish it would die," blah, blah, blah. But I don't. It's not gonna go anywhere. Just please, and don't uninstall the fucking game. I know it makes you happy playing that game. I've seen so many posts. I'm done with Smash. It's the actions of a few people. Don't just don't.
Yeah.
Just don't.
And there's so
It's-
many good people in this scene who have done a lot, and it really sucks. This situation is a lot of people at the top who are founding members of it, basically. But there's still many more other people there who have
And
done a lot
they
to
don't
make
even
it
know
where it
how to
is.
Garrett. That's the crazy part.
Yeah, it's because these people that are getting outed controlled the scene so fucking much to the point where, like, if they didn't like you, you just won't go anywhere. You won't get popular. You just it's ridiculous.
Yep. And that's the like that and the as I was saying earlier, like that culture, that manipulation of at the highest level of abuse, predatory behavior, manipulation, as you just said, in terms of getting popular, like that is something that we are realizing is not exclusive to Smash, is everywhere. And it's something that the silver lining in this is, and this is how I see it, is we are Smash and the Smash community are being open about getting these people out and exposing all this once and for all. And I'm hoping other communities do the same because the reality is this is everywhere. And it's time that this stops.
Yeah. And it really is. I mean, it is everywhere. Whether it was Hollywood or wrestling, like we said earlier, or the Pokemon community, that was like the biggest eye opener, at least in terms of when we've talked about this on the show before, the Pokemon community. And then just everything. I mean, even not to transition away from the topic, but I mean, even the stuff that happened today, dealing with like cyberbullying and suicide. You know what I mean? It's like it's a huge problem. And I think a lot of us, right, we grew up in an age where we didn't always have the internet, most of us, right? It wasn't like we didn't all grow up with the internet at all times. And so I think there was always this like disconnect between, oh, well, online's one thing and like in real life is this other thing. And like, I mean, I know even for myself, right, in like the early days of stuff, not understanding, like I would hear somebody, oh, there's cyberbullying, and it's the kind of thing where you go, well, turn your computer off, but it's so much deeper, and like it's such a huge problem, and it's something that can't be swept under the rug, as simple as people have been used to sweeping it under the rug. And you look at what's going on in Japan, right, with like Terrace House. I don't know if any of you guys watched the show, but with Hana, who the producers literally told her to act a certain way, knowing that it was going to turn her into the villain of the show, right? To the point where then people bullied her so much that she killed herself. And then now that Japan wants to put in place these new cyberbullying rules and all this other stuff, but the change needs to happen. And the stuff with Rackful today, it's like I said this on Twitter, and like you guys might think like a rude comment on a live chat isn't going to reach the streamer that you're watching, because a lot of the times, streamers with like 100, 200, 300, not even, like you can have 50 views, but if you have an active chat, there's constantly comments flying through the screen. And I think a lot of people probably like look at that and go, well, my comment's never going to be seen. And think, oh, this isn't going to mean anything to them. They get negative comments all the time and they'll say something. But you don't know when that one thing is going to set someone off.
With streamers, I have said this in my stream, but I want to say it now that there's more people to hear it. The very popular streamers, I wouldn't be surprised if like over 80% of them were depressed, because they have to sit in a room alone for like 12 hours, sometimes a little less, and just fucking like they're basically a punching bag for Twitch chat, some of them. And it does affect people. It's not just after a while. It'll be words on screen to you for a little bit, and then after a while, you will start thinking those things about yourself that
Sure.
people say.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's just be. It's probably weird to hear this coming from me, but just be nicer. You don't have to tell your favorite streamer to kill themselves. Like, what's the point? What the fuck are you doing?
And I think that's the thing, right? Is that every every streamer has dealt with that in some capacity. It doesn't matter how big or how small. I think you're always going to have people saying it, and I don't know.
Yep.
I mean, but it's tough. I've dealt with that. Doing like a One Piece stream, and I don't like the chapter or something, and I make a joke, and then suddenly everyone's like, "Oh, drink bleach or kill yourself or whatever," and it's like I know who I am. I know that's not something I would do, but does it hurt? Of course, you know.
It's just so
And
crazy
it
that
and it can
someone
hit
would
you on
say
a
that.
different day, yeah.
Yeah,
And it
like,
could
just
hurt you. It like some days, like you said, you'll be sitting and it like won't matter. And especially if you're like among friends or something and you're goofing around and you're picking on each other. How many times have we all called each other stupid on this show? Multiple times. We've called each other every name in the book, you know. So it's not like you can be stupid and have fun, but at the end of the day, if your audience is not taught that that's not okay, it's going to continue to happen, and it will eventually get to you, like you said. No matter how strong you are, right? All it takes is one bad day of a bunch of stuff happening and you not being in a good mood, and somebody says one thing, and then that's it, right? And then you're set off.
And now you know why my slogan is my slogan, Roger. What's my slogan, bro?
Fuck the chat.
Talk to them.
I wasn't gonna say that.
And they know. They know.
Because you don't mean the chat, the general chat. You mean the people in the chat doing that.
Man, fuck the chat.
The chat's like, yo, F us.
Look at them.
That's what someone in the chat just said. He's like, he's right. Look at the chat. He's right.
Thing
He's
is,
right.
no, chat sucks.
Yeah.
Because you know why? They're gonna go to another stream and then be like, "Damn, that stream chat sucks." Like they know, bro. Talk to us. That's what I'm saying, bro.
Kugan, you're right. King of Lightning does say that. That's true. He does.
I don't know who that is, but
one of my One Piece buddies.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
shout out
Anime
that.
streams. Shouts to King of Lightning, man. Good shit.
That's.
I think I'm gonna go take a walk, guys. I'm kind of
I think
emotionally.
Yeah, I think
worn
that's.
out.
I mean, I think this is the time we
think it's
all
a
do
good
that,
point.
right?
Yeah, I think.
I think it's a good point to end it. We've been talking for 2 hours, but again, it was important. It felt weird. We talked about it a lot at length in the private podcast call. Like, are we going to do a show tonight? We initially had planned on doing one, talking about Min Min, and ultimately we came to the decision that, like, no, we have to do one. This is too important to just like even brush away in a segment of an episode. It could be something where we could have talked about Min Min or whatever, but our hearts wouldn't have been into it, especially with all this stuff.
character corny.
Yeah, it would have been corny. Well,
Yeah.
okay, well, hold on. That's for a different episode.
We'll leave that
talk
till
about
next Monday.
Yeah, we'll talk about Min Min.
That was called the tease, Roger. That was called the tease.
Oh, as you want tease, that's fine. That's fine. But yeah. So for the time being, we're done. I think this was actually very helpful.
Yeah, it was good to get everything
And was
out.
like a good way to vent and get everything out for sure.
Everybody in call, y'all are my homies. I fuck with y'all heavy. Everyone in
Facts.
chat, fuck y'all. But go drink some water.
Drink some water, exactly. Drink water. Go for a
Get fucking sleep, but fuck y'all. But go drink some water. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. Go for a walk. Give yourself breaks from social media. Like obviously with everything going on too, you feel like, well, I need to know everything at every given time, but like it'll be there. Like give yourself the opportunity to take a break and remove yourself from it, because you're just going to be inundated with it, and it'll really drag you down to a really bad place. So be aware, but don't let your mental health suffer because of it. And that's it. We'll be back. Talking about Min Min. Adios.
Take care, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.